I know you, Virgo, because you are the one who knows how to get the thing done. Because without your know-how, the pieces would not come together, and nothing would work smoothly. I know you by the details, data, numbers, your critical eye can measure, weigh, and understand. For Virgo is the no-nonsense, meticulous realizer of other men's dreams, and the reason those dreams get off the ground.
I have seen you, Virgo, with your slide rule mind and your sure fingers, far away from fanfare, spotlight, and applause, carefully tying up the loose ends, doing your lonely work, making certain everything is right and ready, while others are out front taking the bows. You being satisfied with a job well done.
I have heard you, Virgo, asking how, knowing what to do with the answers, while others are speculating on why and accomplishing nothing much at all. I have heard you, Virgo, always saying what you mean and trying to mean what you say.
Virgo, your word is work, derived from the Greek ergon, which also means to do.
If work is something that should be fun and nothing to get uptight about, if you have a fatalistic attitude that says, if it works out, great. If not, better luck next time, don't work for a Virgo. He runs a tight ship with a sober crew, and he sails by effort, not by luck. You won't ever be able to lose yourself in the crowd and slide by. His eyes were made for detail. He'll know everything about your job and how you're doing it. To him, the executive chair is a hot seat. He's not quite at ease, which makes his careful virgin nature even more so. But if you can live with a rigid situation and a perfectionist head man, you'll always be very fairly rewarded. Just don't whistle while you work.
If there's an opening in your firm and you're looking for a back-slapping, eye-winking yes-man who likes to swap gags, do the cocktail thing with the boys, and who'll really liven up the old place, don't hire a Virgo. He comes to work. And if you get him, you've got the jewel. He thrives on detail, will be the first one there, and the last to leave. Your secretary will be safe, and so will the company. He'll provide the answers and keep everybody's feet on the ground. Virgo won't push you for the raise or the bonus. He just wants a fair shake and enough work to keep him busy. Also, he isn't after your job. He doesn't want to be leader. He just wants to be effective. And he won't whistle while he works. What makes Virgo precise? Mercury is the planet of the mind. It rules the intellectual needs, calculation, dimension, shape, and tone. Also the need to analyze, to weigh, and to measure. So the Virgin is motivated by a self-conscious desire to be effectively knowing and quietly efficient. It allows for few errors in judgment or performance.
What makes Virgo discriminating? Mercury also rules the ability to compare, and rules the intestines, which select and reject that which has or has not value for the organism. The result being a native that has the critical eye and can separate and categorize.
What makes Virgo industrious? The electric Mercury governs the quality of ability. And in the Virgin's every nerve, the want to be able is strongly featured, and the fear of self-compromise drives the native constantly towards accomplishment and perfection.
What makes Virgo? Method. Mercury is scientific, and Mercury rules Virgo. The Sun in Virgo and the Moon in Aries combines a critical ability with an aggressive personality. The careful virgin nature drops its guard under the influence of the speculating ram. After a few false starts, the drive toward personal recognition begins, and the excellent mental equipment of Virgo, fired by the enthusiasm of Aries, helps desires to be realized.
The Virgin Moon in Taurus softens the corners of ambition, and usually the native likes the living to be easy. You're often fortunate in matters of money, and sheer luck seems to favor you. You prefer harmony to excitement, and have an aversion to being rushed. You are a great audience, and both artists and life love to have you around.
It's been said that man is not a beast of pure reason alone. The Virgo with the twin moon seems to learn everything but that. You are mostly education and information, but not very big in inspiration and imagination. If you think it, you believe it. If you feel it, you don't quite understand it. In the area of the mind, challenges get you going, and there you are hard to defeat. Your mind just never stops working.
If you are Virgo with a moon in Cancer, there's more to you than meets the eye. You appear aloof, but respond quickly to a show of friendship. You seem to be practical and conservative, but time reveals a quivering sensitivity. Your attitude impresses as conventional, but you can have things going that could raise eyebrows. These contradictions do not result from dishonesty, but from protection against a world you're not sure of.
I could not love thee, dear, so well, loved I not honor more. This quote sums up the Virgin with her moon in Leo. Your character, sense of duty, and your need to be honorable mean more to you than anything else in the world. Your difficulty comes from not understanding that you are pretty much alone in this competitive world. You can live and die by your standards, while others, less able, succeed, much to your amazement and resentment.
The Sun and Moon in Virgo produces an intellectual aristocrat. Your thinking proceeds on classic lines, and your approach to living is impeccable. Taste is your word and your creed, and anything that violates good taste scrapes across your senses like a fingernail across a blackboard. You uphold the status quo, and violent changes in personal and world affairs is a condition and a fact of life you cannot buy.
The moon in Libra inspires refinement, which heightens the fastidiousness of the virgin nature. Only truly worthwhile pursuits can claim your time and your energy. You're discriminating, but are not a put-down person. If you cannot associate with people you respect, you prefer your own company and the stimulation of a good book. Any port in a storm is a philosophy you couldn't possibly abide.
If you are a Virgo with your moon in Scorpio, your life is lived in extremely personal terms, and all roads lead to you. Passion dominates thought, and a fiercely subjective attitude touches everything you do. Your convictions are primarily emotional, and as a result, they're not easily changed. When an idea you believe in is threatened, you feel your entire existence is in jeopardy. This could make you a rebel without a cause.
The critical faculty of the Virgin is challenged by the optimism of the Archer when the Virgo moon is in Sagittarius. Your mind may tell you no, but what you feel is yes. In order to escape this paradox, you substitute dreams for reality. In fact, even give up on reality, which isn't necessary. For you have a practical and analytical potential, which, when focused, can achieve first-rate results.
When the Virgo moon is in Capricorn, the exactness of the Virgin and the cautious ambition of the Goat combine to create a study in practicality. You are quietly straightforward and achieve by using precise knowledge and subtle reasoning. Financial gains usually follow your efforts, and business advancement seems to be the natural result. Your ascent, though extremely careful at times, does lead to a personality and a style of living which is well integrated.
The Aquarian's love of relating to life in the abstract is increased when Virgo's moon is in Aquarius. You not only feel a cause, but being Virgo can examine it rationally and find ingenious, original ways of presenting it. Individuals you can take or leave alone as a rule, but people, as a mass mirror of suffering humanity, get the most you have to give, which is usually a great deal.
The hair-splitting eye of the Virgin is given the third eye vision of the hypersensitive fish when the moon is in Pisces. There is the perfect equation of the factual and the intuitive, a capacity for seeing beyond the obvious and reaching the spiritual essence of a problem or a human being. The most rewarding life you can live is one of sympathy and charity, with an open ear and open heart for anyone at any time. Five is the number of means, and Virgo can always find the means with which to accomplish the end. 5 is the number of process, and Virgo has the elements which make process a reality. 5 is the symbol of mechanical expression, and the Virgin mind grasps the mechanics of anything and helps it to work. 5 is the number of severity, and Virgo is not easy on others or himself. 5 indicates strength, and Virgo's self-discipline, diligence, and moral sense makes him very strong. 5 working days, and each one receives maximum effort, for the Virgo native feels safe only when occupied. Five are the fingers of a hand, and Virgo's hand is a study of 5 capable fingers.
Because sapphires are the stone of formality and elegance, because they are a dark and lonely testament to perfection, they are Virgo's gem. A sapphire is both valuable and subtle. It has the quiet significance and depth of the true Virgin native. There are many ways to set a sapphire and it will not lose its worth. Likewise, wherever you place a Virgo, he retains his value and his sense of values. But sapphires are simply corundum, and corundum is merely Al2O2. Its specific gravity is 3.95 to 4.10. And Virgo has this to remind him, that you can know all this and still not really ever see or know a sapphire.
Color Virgo, blue. As blue as the shirts of workers are blue. As blue as the sky, which Virgo's eye must measure before men can fly. As blue as the ocean, which Virgo's mind must sound before men can sail or explore. For the Virgin's cool thought points the way. You, Virgo, must keep in mind that blue is also the color of a sad loneliness, which usually comes when love is lost. It's a heavy blue when love isn't there.
So, Virgo, give your full 5-day effort. Seek the lonely perfection of the sapphire. Measure your blue space and oceans. You can square all the edges in the world, but people will fall off a square world.
In love, Virgo? Oh, you still have to figure it out. Well, one doesn't jump into the thing. I mean, love's complicated enough without getting all emotionally caught up in it. It's reason that makes the world go round. There's little enough time to do your work and no time at all for false starts and meaningless affairs. But maybe this time it adds up.
In love with a Virgo man, my girl? Well, button up your overcoat, here comes winter. And it will be a long, cold winter. He doesn't melt easily. But when spring finally comes, it'll be kind of nice. Not exactly warm, but at least you won't freeze. And what a sense of accomplishment. Also, what an education. He's a bright one. You'll have discovered you're more than a body and a face, you're also a brain. Then when summer happens, you'll be glad you sweated out the cold, because when he finally declares himself, summer could last a long time.
In love with a Virgo girl, my man? Well, I hope you have the truth habit. The only thing that works with her is straight talk. If you're in love with love, or you're a finger snapper who makes the scene and never gives it a second thought, you'd better pass. She wants more than a fast story, a kiss, and a promise. Besides, she probably had you figured in 10 minutes, and you'll get the total rundown of what's wrong with you. No details spared. Virgos are big on details. Like, how much do you weigh? How much do you earn? How much do you owe? What books do you read? If you pass the test, you must have a lot going for you. The lady is a perfectionist. Even after you get a yes, it may take a long stretch before you really reach her. Don't forget, she likes a man who takes his time.
Out of love, Virgo? It doesn't figure. Or write it off. Work around the clock. Who needs it? Next time, try a Capricorn or a Taurus. Or just get it through your head that numbers can lie. And so can people.
Virgo begins with a clear look at the world, immediately identifying each object and putting it in its place. Everything belongs somewhere, and the Virgo youngster is frustrated when it isn't there. The parent of this child never has to worry that he won't find something to do. He's always seeking to be occupied. He's the one who'll wonder why there is a Santa Claus on every corner, and who will figure out your card tricks, because he just can't believe in magic. Also, you can trust him with chores and responsibilities far beyond his years. The young Virgo may never seem as if he's in a hurry, but he'll get the job done efficiently. Never forget that in spite of his apparent seriousness, this is still a child with all the needs and fears of children.
In his second season, Virgo, with his penetrating eye, has a firm conviction that if you can read the small print, you'll be able to make everything fall into place. The rude awakening occurs when the Virgin discovers that details are only one part of any enterprise. There are things like imagination, intuitiveness, and inspiration that have nothing to do with what the numbers say. He begins to see that there are intangibles not measurable by any ruler yet devised. He learns that the facts ain't necessarily so.
In his third season, the virgin native who has learned his lessons finds his niche in the scheme of things. He assumes his position as unsung hero, utilizing his exceptional capacity for taking things apart with painstaking effort, and serving as the man who makes the plan work. He fears his emotions less, and in so doing, brings a warmer element to his whole life, and succeeds in letting more of the world in. When this happens, he achieves his maximum potential.
In his fourth season, Virgo, still meticulous and a stickler for details, will probably still be found at his desk, keeping a sharp eye on all the activity and tempering the sightless intemperance of his juniors with facts and figures. He'll probably still be the first one there and the last to leave. His life will be a book that is closed to most, and he will have some warm secrets all his own. For Virgo, men and women alike, to become is to make the full effort, and they will have the satisfaction of having done their best in whatever they attempted, and having truly made things work.
I believe that cosmic religious sense is one of the strongest and noblest motives behind scientific research. Albert Einstein. I hold it for certain that the celestial bodies have in them certain other influences besides heat and light. I have practiced astrology, and you have not. If I do not condemn it, how can you presume to do so? Sir Francis Bacon. It is the stars above us, governs our conditions. William Shakespeare. Ye stars, which are the poetry of heaven, in your bright leaves we would read the fate of men and empires. Lord Byron. Astrology is astronomy brought down to earth and applied to the affairs of man. Ralph Waldo Emerson. We of the fixed stars have rejected the message of the wanderers of the sky. Do they not tell us of things to come as well as of things long past, buried in the racial memory of man? Henry Miller. It is the very error of the moon. She comes more near to earth than she was wont, and makes men mad. From Othello by William Shakespeare. We are born at a given moment, in a given place. And like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and the season in which we are born. Astrology does not lay claim to anything more. Carl Jung.